Hey friends, I'm Endya Moler, and this is It's the Little Things, the podcast that reminds us to slow down, look around, and see God's hand in every detail. Each episode will talk life, faith, and growth because it's often the smallest moments that bring the biggest change.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to It's the Little Things podcast. I am so excited today because I have a guest. We haven't had a guest in a while, so I'm super excited to introduce Rachel, who is one of my friends first, but coworkers second. And so I'm super excited to have her here today. And so we're just going to have a conversation about nutrition and all the things related to just health and faith and fitness and how it all correlates. And so for the people who don't know you yet, Rach, how do you describe what you do and more importantly, why you do it?
Um, okay, so for those of you who don't know, I'm a functional nutrition counselor. I'm looking at the camera, so
That's okay.
so for those of you who don't know, I am a functional nutrition counselor. So I like to just say that I'm kind of the bridge between a practitioner and the client. So a lot of times when you go to the doctor and you're diagnosed and you're given, one option and it's medicine, I am kind of the person who gets to give you the other options, and a lot of it is related around food. And I guess I kind of had my own personal experience with that several years ago when I went through a series of issues, health issues, and was like, oh, so like you mean I just get on this medicine and it's all gonna be okay? And it's like, I don't really want to do that, but I don't know what other options are out there. So I kind of started digging in the world of functional nutrition and found this course that answered all of my questions. And I feel like I healed myself basically from it. And I was like, wow, I can use this as a tool to help other people. So I feel like my own kind of personal struggles and issues like created this passion to bridge that gap for people who just feel like they're not being heard or feel like they've been given like a one size fits all kind of protocol, and it's like you do have other options and I'm the person for you. So
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like the hardest thing right now with everything going on is there's always a medication to cover the symptoms and not
Yeah,
the root cause of it,
absolutely.
which is such an aggravating thing because I know that's something I've talked about doctors with when they're like, "Hey, we think you should go on this." And
Mhm.
I was like, "Okay, well, when can I stop taking that?" And they're
Yeah,
like,
you're like,
"No,
oh, like
you're just going to be on
never.
it forever."
It's like literally it's like wearing a lifelong band-aid and you're like, I want the cut to actually heal. It's like I don't want to
Exactly.
have to keep replying this like Scooby-Doo band-aid.
Yeah, and the list of symptoms that come along with
Yes. Oh
medications
my
and
gosh,
even
yeah.
supplements, there's just so many things that can go wrong or are wrong. Um, or like depression and anxiety is linked to so many medications. And it's
It's
like,
so
why
true.
would I want to struggle with that mentally just
Yes.
to cover up a
Yes.
physical symptom?
Yes, and then have all these other problems, and they're like, "Oh, get on a medication for that," and then it's like, "How many medications do I have to be on?"
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a whole issue.
Yeah. No, for
Somebody needs
sure.
to talk to people, no.
Yeah. So,
Podcast needs to reach the right person, and then
yes,
maybe we'll solve all the problems.
absolutely. So, when talking about all of this,
Mm,
when you hear kind of the phrase, it's the little things, what does that mean to you in the context of nutrition and health?
yeah, that's a great question, especially in, like, the hustle bustle life that we are, like, told to live. It feels like you have to be all or nothing. It's like, okay, you have to do everything 100% of the time, 100% right, or like don't even do it. It's like a lot of people get in that mindset. So I think the biggest thing is like switching the mindset to more of like an 80/20 is kind of what I tell my clients. Is like, okay, 80% of the time you can be 80% perfect. And like then you've got 20% cushion to kind of just be flexible. And so figuring out in your 80% what your like non-negotiables are, like 3 to 5 things that you prioritize. And you're gonna be like, okay, health to me, like define health, be like, it's this, this, and this. And those are the things that I don't make any compromises on, and then just do the daily habits. Like
Mm,
consistency does compound, and the more that you practice your habits, the more they or the less they feel like habits. And so it's different for everybody because what you value in your health may be a little different than what I value, but it's the important thing is that we're doing it consistently and it's the little things that add up. So yeah, I
absolutely.
feel like trying to think of an example, like I draw the line at, like, 9 p.m., like, I go to bed every night at 9 p.m., and
Hmm.
so I'm like, that's my one thing that I'm like, you know, for a special person, I'll stay out a little late, but it's like, I'm, like, in bed at 8:45, and so for me, that's, like wellness and being healthy and, eating breakfast. That's another one. Like, that's
Mhm.
like the big one. All of you listening, if you don't eat breakfast, just pause and go grab food really fast. But I'm like, I wake up, the first thing I do is eat breakfast, no matter like if I'm 5 a.m. or 7 a.m. It's like I put food in my body, and so it's like protein and carbs first, and so that's another non-negotiable. It's a little thing that feels like a really big thing when you're starting out, but then
Mhm.
it becomes just like a habit. And then eventually it's like you're doing all these habits and you're like, where did this lifestyle come from? It's like,
Mhm.
oh, the little things, like great.
Yeah.
So
I feel like it's so true. This is kind of what I tell people a lot of times with fitness and faith in general. It's
mhm.
just remembering that it doesn't have to be this massive overnight
Yeah.
transformation
Yeah.
like Saul to Paul. It's more of little steps that you're taking to be
Mhm.
disciplined
Yeah.
that adds up to a completely different
It's so
person,
true.
health
Yeah.
and mentally.
Yeah. Before you know it, your lifestyle will be overhauled, but it's not going to be you wake up and it all changes. Like, it's honestly like that would be nice, but that's our spirit, our flesh like
Mhm.
wants that instant gratification, but it just doesn't work that way. And
Yeah.
like there's a lot of cool like beauty and trust and faith that comes in the process of practicing those disciplines. So I think it ties really well into just like spiritual faith, practicing stewarding your body well for the glory of the Lord too. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's definitely connected. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like I see the most burnout with people who are doing an all or nothing approach because
Yeah.
they start something and it's starting
Yes.
really, really well or as disciplined as they can be and it truly only will last like a
Yeah.
week or two
Yeah.
and then they are completely back to square one.
Yeah. And a lot of times those same people are the ones who like do the trending thing. And it
Mhm.
feels like, oh, this is what's trending now. Let me like give it a try. And then you get burnt out. And then you're like, I try to do all the right things, but like nothing is working. And it's like, okay, you're actually doing the wrong things. You really only need 3 to 5 simple habits. And before you know it, you're where you want to be, like in your mind. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
a big one.
So you mentioned breakfast. That's a big thing. Whoever's listening needs to be eating breakfast. And you say that after each of your classes,
I do.
go
I
eat some
do.
breakfast. And I think that's so great. But for those people who are waking up and they're not hungry, they don't really have an appetite to eat. What are the benefits of them actually waking up and eating breakfast? And
Yeah.
why should they care about that?
Yeah. So if you think about like if you're the person that doesn't eat breakfast, you're not hungry because you have trained your body to not eat at that time. It thinks it doesn't need food at that time. So my biggest thing, I'm like, okay, just try eating something. Like, even if it's a plain piece of bread or a banana or a spoonful of peanut butter, like, put something in your mouth at breakfast time, like when you first wake up for 2 weeks and give yourself 2 weeks. Before you know it, you're going to start getting hungry at breakfast because your body has adapted to that change. And it's now like, oh, like we have extra calories to burn. Like my metabolism is working better. And so that's probably the biggest benefit is your metabolism. You're able to like kind of turn it on first thing in the morning by putting in, fat, fiber, protein, good carbs, that kind of thing in your body. Not coffee. Coffee is not breakfast. Donuts are breakfast. If you need help with breakfast, let me know. But your metabolism gets to wake up to good nutrition and not just fast sugar, fast carbs. And then before you know it, like I said, you're going to be hungry more frequently in the mornings or more frequently throughout the day. And that's a good sign. Hunger is good. Hunger is positive. It's your body saying, yes, we're using the fuel you're giving us. Now give us more so that we can continue to do the demands that you're asking of us. So it's always like, "Oh, I'm not hungry at breakfast." It's like, "Yes, because you don't eat it," but the more you practice eating breakfast, the more you'll actually get hungry at breakfast, and then your body's gonna have, hopefully, more calories to use to get through your day, and you're gonna be maybe you won't have, like, late night cravings or,
Mhm.
like, a crash at 2 p.m. Your energy will feel more balanced, your blood sugar like, there's so many positive things for breakfast. I'm like, I can't wake up and just not eat breakfast. I'm like, I don't understand.
No, I know.
I have 2 breakfasts before 11 a.m.
No,
So,
literally. That's the funniest thing is like I don't have the problem of not eating
yeah,
because I'm always hungry. Like I can always
literally.
eat
Yeah,
something.
literally. I mean, I empathize with those who don't, but I'm also like, we can get you there, I promise.
Yes, absolutely. It's something, yeah, it's just like
It's a
how
lot.
we've trained ourselves to eat and be
Yes.
hungry.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. It's just
Yeah.
they're at a different
Yeah.
phase of that.
Mm-hmm.
So absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So how can kind of going along those lines, how can fueling our bodies and taking care of our bodies be a form of worship or honoring to
Yeah,
God?
that's a great question. I believe that we were given everything we need to survive and thrive by God. So you think about the things that He created in the garden. He created plants and birds and the beasts of the fields and all of those things to allow humans to steward their bodies and to eat and to fuel their bodies. And so for the longest time, I struggled with whether or not I was worth eating the food that was out there. It's like, oh, like I'm I just had such a low self-esteem that I didn't think eating was important enough. And then I was like, wow, like that's so messed up because what if somebody that I loved switched bodies with me? Like I love them. Like I would want them to feel their best and feel valued. And so I think in a way, me learning that honestly came from the Lord. He was like, you are so much more valuable than you think you are. Like just believe that from him. And so it just becomes this way to glorify the Lord by honoring the temple that you've been given. Like we only have one body. We don't get to take it with us. That's a different podcast. um, but you want to treat it like you're living in it for the life that you have here on earth. And so you want to live well. And if you think about living well, you want to do all these things and be in community and have friends and be social. But you have to have energy for all of those things. So it comes back down to thriving based on the food that we've already been given, which is like just amazing how it all is created so perfectly.
Yes, yeah. And for those who are kind of struggling with the aspect of just not seeing their own worth in their body that they're in, that they're constantly striving for more and better, not
Yeah.
just for health, but for looks, kind of what would
Yeah.
be your message to them in that capacity?
It's a great question because that's kind of where my passions for this whole topic kind of stemmed from was like the aesthetic sides of nutrition was like, macros and calories and all that stuff. That doesn't feel sustainable. Like, how can you do that for the rest of your life? I think I would just say, like, have you asked God? Like, have you talked to God about it and been like real and raw and like really struggled and been like, Lord, like, this is how I think of myself. Like, is that from you or is that from the enemy? Like, what truths do I need to believe about myself? And really wrestle with that because honestly, like, the things that you're saying in your brain, your narrative, they come from somewhere. And so, whether that's, the devil on your shoulder, the angel on your shoulder, or community that you're around, but just have like a real conversation with the Lord, have a real conversation with friends that you trust and just be like, I don't know what this is how I view myself, like get raw and real. And I feel like having that accountability helps so much because you can't do it by yourself. Like you can't overcome that struggle of self-image or self-worth or, trying to maintain a certain appearance. That's not what it's about. And if you're trying to overcome that, you need people in your corner who want the same for you because it's really hard to do alone. So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah. So, for those who don't know, Rachel has a beautiful son named Charlie, and I'm obsessed with him.
He's cute.
Yeah, he's amazing and he's adorable, and I love him. But has being a mom kind of
Oh my gosh,
changed your
yes.
perspective on body image, health, and
For sure.
nutrition as well?
Yeah, for sure. It's honestly such cool timing. Like when I think about the timeline of my life and the things that I have learned in certain seasons, it's like all just aligns so beautifully to like plant me in motherhood of like, wow, if I became a mom 2 years ago, I would not be okay. Like I would be struggling with all of these things, but like I have gotten to overcome them from the strength of the Lord. And now I'm a mom and now I get to like, anyway, it's just so cool. So I feel like it definitely has because, for the longest time, I kind of mentioned earlier, I viewed, wealth or health and wellness as like a certain aesthetic and like looking a certain way, being a certain number or whatever. And I literally could not feed my child if I was living that lifestyle that I was living. Like,
Mhm.
so my biggest motivation lately has been like, eat enough to sustain me and to sustain my child, because
Mhm.
we're going on 14 months of breastfeeding and your girl eats a lot of food. He eats a lot of food.
Yes.
And so I'm like, that's the biggest thing that I've learned is like, to me, that is what stewarding my body means, is being able to like bring, nutrition to this life that the Lord created that I get to somehow amazingly be the mother of, and, steward my body in a way that allows him to be fed. And so
Mhm.
it's like, wow, like 2 years ago, Rachel would have been like, "Ugh, girl, no, you need those biceps and like you need that six pack." And it's like, that's not what it's about.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
so, yeah, I think the same goes with like working out. It's like, I want to be able to keep up. He's crazy. He runs everywhere. I
Yeah.
want to be able to keep up with him. And so that's why I stay active. And I like to lift heavy stuff because I want to outlift my son one day.
Yes,
It's like,
as you
that's
should.
what matters. So yeah, it's definitely changed my mindset of, yeah, just wellness overall and taking care of my body, because I know that somebody's watching. Like, little eyes are always watching me, and I'm like, okay, do I like sit and actually have a meal, or do I look stressed at dinner time, or do I feel happy and joyful
Mhm.
around dinner? It's like those little things that he sees that I'm not even conscious of, like, kind of shape his view of wellness 20 years down the road. And I'm like,
Absolutely.
that's a lot of burden to bear,
Yeah.
but that's the gift I've been given, which is awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I feel like along those lines too, as even a daughter looking at her mother, like being able to
Mm-hmm.
see things that even your mom has said growing up, how it shaped you in positive
Yeah,
or even in negative
absolutely.
ways
Yeah.
sometimes. Like when it comes to food, when it comes to even body image, looking at yourself in the mirror, it's like,
Yeah.
oh, I would have never picked that out. But I heard my mom one time mention cellulite. Now I
Yes.
notice
And now I
mine.
notice it.
And
Yeah.
so
There's
it's
a
like,
lot of power in that.
so there are so many things even with that, speaking positivity in life into food. It's
Yeah.
like when you're around, even just like when I'm around my friends, just being positive about what I'm eating because I am somebody who has the knowledge of nutrition and wellness and speaking positivity into that. Like if I can't speak positivity into
Yeah.
them, then what
Yeah.
are they gonna
Yeah,
think?
exactly.
So yeah, I absolutely agree with that. For sure. So kind of moving a little bit more into the hormonal aspect of food. We
Yeah.
kind of see throughout the media and everything that PCOS is on the rise. It's being diagnosed
Mm,
significantly more.
yeah.
Hormones are always out of whack. What are things that you've noticed with that, whether you're working with patients or clients or you're working even with yourself? How does food impact your
Yeah.
hormones and how does it affect all of us?
I feel like this is such a broad topic. Mhm. But you look at the people who are being diagnosed with PCOS, and probably 80% of them have been on birth control at some point.
Hmm.
The infertility rate in America is the highest it's ever been, and all of the women that are at childbearing age were in the like era of birth control.
Hmm.
So that's like another tangent to go
Yes.
on.
Yeah.
But that's like the hormonal wreckage basically is what's happening. But I think when you look at, we'll talk about the gut because it's kind of the center of everything.
Mhm.
But the the gut is not an isolated organ. It works in tandem, and it's like being adapted to the daily stresses of life. And
Mhm.
so stress can be positive, stress can be negative. Most of the time it's negative just because of the world that we live in.
Mhm.
So if you look at things like, just chronic stress, or, for example, under eating, under fueling your body, it causes so many different things to happen. It wrecks your thyroid, it messes up your cortisol, all of these different things. And in turn, that now signals your hormones to try to overcompensate for what stress is happening. And so it's kind of hard to just say, like, this is what's wrong. It's
Mhm.
like, okay, what's happening upstream, or what's happened in the past that is now causing these things to start to show themselves. And so that's like part of what the functional nutrition is taking this person that was created differently than anybody else out there
Mhm.
and figuring out what specific path do we follow to like pinpoint, oh, we just need more of this or less of this or a little bit more of all of these things to kind of reorient our body and get it back into equilibrium. And so it's really cool. It's like a puzzle. It's like a million different puzzles.
Yeah.
Each person presents um this new puzzle that you figure out, and you're like, oh, like it's not a one size fits all. Like what works for me and my hormones is different than what works for you and your hormones. But I think if I had to say like one thing was the culprit, it would be the amount of toxins that we are living in,
Mhm.
which is like the trending thing now. But I'm like, it's not even, it shouldn't be trending. It should just always be trending.
Yeah.
But our toxic overload is just ridiculous.
Mhm.
And just, I mean, the clothes that we're wearing, the smells that we're breathing, the things that say they're non-toxic that actually aren't non-toxic, and we're like, what do we even trust out there? And it's
Right.
like, so I think that's probably the biggest one. But food, you look at it, it does play such a huge role because you're getting essential minerals and nutrients from the real food that is not processed, and all these synthetic things are in it. Like, get real food, get ingredients. That's what I tell people. I like be an ingredient household, because that's where you're going to get the biggest nutritional value, the biggest bang for your buck. And yeah, we can go into more detail on the one-on-one if you book with me.
Yes,
But
absolutely. Yeah,
I'm like, I feel like that's a good,
no,
I don't
that's a
know,
good
overarching.
no,
Yeah.
that's a good overarching theme. I feel like even with hormonal things and PCOS specifically, I was listening to a podcast the other day. I don't know if you it's the Diary of a CEO.
Oh.
He did a panel with 5 different women that are in like
Wait,
women specific healthcare.
wait, yes,
Yeah.
I did.
So
Actually,
good.
Dr. Patton sent it to me.
Did she really?
Yes. Yeah, I
Okay.
think it was this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
And but anyways, they were kind of talking he mentioned PCOS, and one of the doctors was like PCOS presents itself differently in every
Yeah.
person.
Yeah.
And so seeing on social media, there's like 30 million different supplements that people are like, take
Mhm.
this and you will be healed of PCOS. Eat this and you'll be healed of, or avoid these 10 foods and you'll be healed of PCOS. And my biggest thing with that is, as somebody with PCOS,
Mhm.
I it's so aggravating because it's
Yeah.
constantly like a new thing
Yes.
that people are saying, if you do this, you'll be healed.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
it's just so
Like,
inaccurate
how
and
can
it's
you maintain?
harmful.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
it's
so.
and supplements cannot just
Mhm.
be like that's another thing. Although supplements have a lot of positive things, I don't want to be on supplements
Yeah.
forever either.
Literally, the word supplement is like, it's not designed to be the only thing that you do. It's supposed to supplement your like main thing. So it's
Mhm.
like you can't just use supplements as your answer to everything. But that proves my point of like everybody's created so differently
Right.
that you can't just say this will heal everybody's case. It's like,
Mhm.
no, like you got to look at the person and how they're created and how their body works. And yeah, it's cool.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
So with we've kind of talked uh about a lot of this, but when you are in a session and there are things going on with someone and you're trying to figure out what's going on with them, what are like steps that you're going through in your head
Yeah.
or in your session to kind
Yeah.
of help figure out what this person
Yeah,
is
it's a great
experiencing?
question. First off, we do kind of like a food diary. And so I always start everybody out journaling, 3 to 5 days, just to gives me an idea of what they're currently eating in their day. And the results are surprising. It's like there's nothing on breakfast, there's nothing at lunch, and then they have a donut for a snack, and you're like, "Oh, that's why you feel bad." So
Mhm.
that's my initial, because it weeds out a lot of future questions. It's like, okay, this is where we start. We start on just eating enough food throughout
Mhm.
your day to actually like get variety and get nutrition. But if people have a really perfect food diary and I'm like, okay, this looks really good, we're still having these issues, then we can go into lab work, and that's always a fun one. It's like looking at stool samples, looking at hormone labs, blood labs, all those different panels, and seeing like, okay, this is the range that we're supposed to be operating in, and we're like out here. So
Mhm.
how do we move the needle? And so it's kind of a little bit of guess and check. It's like, okay, that looks good. Let's follow this path down this way and try it. And a lot of it is like takes a lot of time, because if you think about, you're 35 years old, you've been doing these things for 35 years, it's not going to be 2 weeks worth of work and then you're suddenly healed or whatever.
Mhm.
It's like it does take some discipline and some figuring out. And sometimes we try specific diets, elimination diets, or addition diets, and it doesn't work. And it's like, okay, well, there was no harm done. Like we've got answers because we know that that's not the problem, but we keep working to figure that out. And it can be a tedious process, but it's process at least. At least you're not just being told like, here's these pills that are gonna wreck your system. Like, there you go. So yeah, it's different for everybody, but kind of starting out the same to figure out to kind of weed out like where we go from there. And then obviously if it's out of my scope, I'm like, I have a great doctor I can recommend you to.
Yes, absolutely.
So,
Absolutely. So when looking at all of this and we're trying to balance health and we're trying to balance eating well, how do you do all of that without becoming obsessive?
yeah, it's hard. That's a good question. I think to some point, for the extreme cases, there is a little bit of an obsession, but it needs to be like a healthy obsession. Like you need to share it with people and be like, okay, I'm going on this journey. I'm trying to figure out my health. Like, help me. You know, like sometimes when you're isolated and you're alone, it's this like negative. It's like just becomes something that it just feels negative. Feels like there's like a stress about it. But then when you bring people in, it's like, okay, like yes, I'm kind of obsessive right now because I'm trying to figure out all these things, but at least I have support. And I feel like I'm not, I'm being encouraged along the way, and I'm being held accountable, but not too much so to where I feel like it's too rigid. And so I feel like, yeah, for the extreme cases, a little bit of obsession is okay, especially starting out. But then as you go, like it you want it to become your lifestyle, something that you can maintain. So if you think about the things that you do every single day, is that what you want to do every single day? It's like, no. And so I actually love this topic because I want nutrition to be attainable and sustainable. Those are like the two words that are trending in my head right now. It's like, okay, can you do this every day? And can you do this every day? It's like, can you actually attain these goals that you have? And then can you maintain them as well? And so I think having a balance of, okay, I'm stewarding my body, I'm fueling it well. And there's also that 20% of flexibility. So it goes back to that like 80-20 mindset of like, it's not all or nothing. That's an obsessive mindset where if I fail, I failed and I can't go back. It's like, okay, 80-20 doesn't feel too restricting. Like if I fail, I still get up, then I try again. And so I don't know. I feel like, yeah, it's hard because doing it by yourself is probably the biggest enemy or like fuel to the fire of becoming obsessive over it. So bringing people into whatever journey you're on, whether it's counting macros or counting calories or whatever, it's like let people know what you're going through so that they can kind of make sure that you're not going off the deep end. I feel like, yeah, so,
absolutely.
yeah.
And I feel like having people with you going along, just like with anything in life, is always going to be better. And it's how the Lord created us to be. Like if we just look at the structure of the Trinity, God is not alone.
It's not, yeah.
So why would we why would he expect us to put that whole burden and everything on ourselves? Yeah. And I think it also just comes with, like my sister, she started Accutane a long time ago, and she had told her entire community around her, if you start noticing something different about me, please tell me. And they were honest, and they told her like, hey, we've noticed you are a little bit more sad than usual. It was so helpful for her. And I feel like that's the same thing with anything. Hey, I noticed that you didn't eat lunch today, or you ate chips and salsa for lunch today, or like you're not, I'm worried about you and I'm concerned. I just want to make sure that you're doing okay.
Right. You think about when you're isolated, it feels like the enemy can just attack so much easier. And obsession, there's a root to it somewhere. It's like it's a sin, you think about, okay, why am I obsessed over this? Is it because I'm trying to attain a certain look, or is it because of control? It's like you have to kind of surrender whatever that root sin is and be like, okay, I need the Lord, and then I need community. And it's way easier to do that when you're around people that you can trust and that support you.
Absolutely. So another question kind of help with all the people that are probably like, this all sounds great. How do I do this?
Now?
Yes. So kind of going from the choosing real food that will fuel us. What does that look like for somebody who has a busy life, or they have kids and they're working, or they have limited energy? Like they just come home and they don't want to cook and they're exhausted. What does that look like for them?
This is where I call myself the lifestyle coach because there's a lot of things that you can do to kind of prep for your week in a way that doesn't add anything to your plate, but sets the end of your week up or like the nights for like success and not stress. And so, um, things that you can do are like meal planning and meal prepping, and those are like really easy tools that I get to help people with, and it's fun and it's like nerdy and whatever. But wait, repeat it one more time. The last part of the question.
What for people with busy life,
Yes.
kids, work, and
Yeah,
limited
achieving
energy?
that.
Yeah.
Um, so kind of like finding areas in your week where you can implement like meal planning, where you prepare dinners 3 days in advance to have the next 3 days. So then it gets to dinner time and you're like, oh, I know that there's like a protein, a fat, and a carb prepped already. I don't have to think about it. I just heat it up, and wow, that took an hour of my time. Gave an hour of my time back to me, and now I'm like not stressed about it. And so I fit that category really well with kids, and I feel like I'm running around everywhere. But I take about 2 hours on Sundays to either grocery shop whatever else I need, mostly to prep the food for the week before. For me, it's like lunches that need prepping because like I have a little more time in the mornings, I have a little more time in the evenings, but like the lunches, they just pass me by. I'm like, oh, it's 1 o'clock. Like, where's my lunch? And so being able to have the hardest meals like already taken care of helps so much. And so I feel like that would be my biggest advice is like, what's the hardest part of your day right now? Like, what can you do to kind of set future you up for that to no longer feel like a hard thing. So,
Absolutely.
and as you notice, like you're eating more real foods, like, and by real foods, I mean like just one ingredient foods like avocado and peanut butter. It's like two words, but it's just peanuts. Like your body's receiving a lot more minerals and nutrients and calories and proteins and all the things, and you may actually feel like your energy levels rise. And if you go to bed at the right time and you're not drinking coffee 5 cups of coffee a day, it's like, okay, this is a lifestyle coach coming out of me. But it's like there's a lot of little things that you can do to kind of balance your energy. But yeah, finding the one thing, like the hardest part of your week is that dinner, is that breakfast, and then figuring out what you can do to make it a little easier for the week ahead, like, helps a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I do feel like the most common thing I get so frequently is I just don't wanna eat the same meal that many
Yeah.
days in a row. So, like, that's the biggest thing I hear, but one thing that I've learned to do for myself so that I choose the meals that I prepped and not otherwise is meal prepping ingredient prepping. So,
Yes,
instead
ingredient
of,
prepping.
like, prepping an entire meal, putting it in a Tupperware and setting it aside, I prep
Yeah.
like 3 different
3 pounds
meats.
of chicken,
Yes,
whatever,
or like
yeah.
a bunch of random different things that I can mix and match as the week goes on. I can make chicken tacos, or I can make it,
Yeah.
ground turkey tacos or whatever. That way it's not something
The
that's like
same meal on
mundane and
repeat.
boring.
Yeah,
Yes, and
some people like that, other people need the variety. I could eat the same thing all week long,
I can
and so
too.
that's why I default to being like, "Just prep, 7 of it." It's like, whatever, and I'm
Yeah.
like, "Oh, yeah," like, I do think that that's weird.
Yeah.
I'm the weird person here.
It's also a like a money saver
Oh,
too to meal
for
prep because at lunchtime when you're hungry and you decide you need food and you
yes.
have nothing you've made, you
Mhm.
either
Yeah.
don't eat or you go buy something.
Yeah,
So-
and if you go buy something, you either go eat out or you just buy junk from the grocery store that you, like, end up wasting probably
right.
the next time, like,
Exactly.
tomorrow, and so, yeah, I think the crock pot is, like, the biggest hack
Yes.
in my life right now. I just put all the chicken breasts in there, cook it all, and then I have, like, shredded chicken for the week. I can use whatever. I just eat shredded chicken all week long.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely finding the hacks. They're out
Absolutely.
there.
Yeah. And then last but not least, what are the habits that are wreaking havoc on your gut and hormone levels that you're seeing either consistently you've seen in your own life or those around you or even clients?
Yeah, that's good. I think it kind of ties back into what I said earlier about undereating.
Mhm.
Um, because it's more of like what's happening daily than like any isolated event. So if you are daily under eating, then especially protein and carbs, then your body is having to compensate somewhere.
Mhm.
So whether that's your thyroid or actually under eating causes your cortisol to spike. So there's your issue right there.
Yeah.
It's like your hormones. But like your thyroid, even like your gut barrier and your gut biome can be messed up. Like that's just one thing. And there's so many daily habits that we're doing that we don't realize that are good or bad. And so but I feel like that's the most common one that I see is especially women. They are just not eating enough. And
Mhm.
it's like that feels so backwards when you think about nutrition and getting healthy. Like most people think you need to be eating less so that you lose weight. And it's like, no, if your body's in a state of famine already, then eating less is not the issue. Like that's not the answer. And most of us probably and you out of that because
Yeah.
we don't be famished
You know,
over here.
no, we do not.
But most of us are in a famished state, and so then yeah, our body's compromising in a different way, and that just like over time starts to wreak havoc on all of the systems. Like everything works together, and so one thing gets messed up, everything else tries to come in and fix it, and so kind of figuring out like what those negative habits are or those chronic stressors are and that's what I can do for you is
Mhm.
I help you because we're like I don't even know what I'm stressed about like something's just wrong
Mhm.
and so kind of figuring out what those are and kind of reworking them over time can reverse a lot of symptoms that we're having so yeah
Absolutely.
sleep go to bed
Yeah, there's so many
sleep
things, or
well.
like getting enough vitamin D,
Yes
like
there's literally
going outside.
like the
There's
list
a
is
massive list.
endless.
Yes, there's so many different things,
Yeah.
and
We need a podcast for everything that we could put on that list.
yeah, and we can.
Okay.
The new series, me
Yes.
and Rachel talking about
The
what y'all need to
list.
do. The list, the series. Yeah. So moving forward from here, for anybody listening that's like, man, I love this, but I need more guidance. I'd love to meet with you. How do they get in
Yeah.
touch and meet with you?
I'm like, probably just DM me right now. I'm actually working on getting my website
Absolutely.
fully up and running. And I'm working on building kind of like a nutrition community, I
Mhm.
guess I'm calling it. But it's just a space where every month you have access to kind of a lot of the information that we just talked about. Like, if you're somebody who just needs a trusted person, you're like, oh, I know this girl from this girl, like India recommended whatever, like a trusted person to get nutrition advice from, like this little community is going to be the win for you. But then if you're the person who needs a little bit more guidance, I also have like a level where you get one-on-one coaching. You get a one-on-one appointment every single month.
Mhm.
And I can kind of come alongside you and be like, okay, what new habits are we trying and how are we doing? Be your support, be your accountability. Literally do it for you. You're just the one who has to like actually put the work in. I'm just like, okay, do all these things, blah, blah,
Mhm.
blah. And then outside of that, you get all of these other people who are in the same space and going through the same thing. And it's like, it should feel like a very positive environment. And
Mhm.
so all of that, it's already actually all live. I'm like, I don't even know the name of it right now. This is so bad. It's Rad Health and Wellness. So you can just Google Rad Health and Wellness. And I'm hoping it pops up first. I'm
Yeah.
like, I may be at the bottom, but it's my little community. And so I'm getting that all like up and running. And then if you just want like a introductory, like one-on-one, you can email me. So like we can put my email somewhere, I
Perfect.
guess.
Yeah, I'll put it
Yeah.
up. I'll link
Email or
everything on the story.
my Instagram. And then I'll send you my website and you can link that too if they want to like look at it or whatever. But yeah. Yeah.
Perfect. Yay. Well, thank you
I
for
was
being on.
prepared for that question.
That's okay. We'll figure it out. I'll fill all the information out on Instagram. Yeah. Thanks for being on. And thank you for listening and watching or listening or whichever one you decided to do. I just pray that you guys will go out into the week, just be a light for the Lord in everything that you do, glorify Him. And I hope today's episode really does help you kind of know which direction you should be going health wise and just see the benefits of doing this to help steward not only the health that you've been given and the body you've been given, but also that it would glorify and honor the Lord. So go out into the world, be a light for the Lord in everything you do, and be the reason someone smiles today. Bye!
Woo!
Yay, that was a good
Hey friends, I'm Endya Moler, and this is It's the Little Things, the podcast that reminds us to slow down, look around, and see God's hand in every detail. Each episode will talk life, faith, and growth because it's often the smallest moments that bring the biggest change.